Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Edward Junior Arthur, and this is my presentation. I decided to do a video presentation on the defense of Friedman against Mulligan's critique for philosophy 1102 for Dr. Ghana. So I chose the paper, the social responsibility of business is to increase its profit. Yeah. So in my paper, I analyzed Thomas Mulligan's response to Milton Friedman famous essay again. The social responsibility of business is to increase its profits. So at first, Mulligan argues that Friedman is wrong to separate morality and profit. He believes that companies must pursue both profit and social good at the same time. So companies must pursue both profit and morality at the same time. As he says, a company might reduce pollution or fair wages, not just for image, but because those actions can also lead to a long-term trust and efficiency of the outside world. Yeah. However, I defend Friedman's position because he argues that the main responsibility of business management is to maximize profits for shareholders. Yeah, if companies try to solve social problems, they risk acting like political leaders instead of economic agents. So I agree with Friedman very much. Yeah, that social priorities must be decided by citizens and governments and not corporations. Yeah, I also mentioned that focusing too much on social responsibility or morality can weaken a company's financial strength. Yeah, which might hurt them very, which can hurt the very people Milligan wants to help. As he said, he wants to help the consumers. Yeah. In conclusion, while Milligan's critique is insightful, I believe Friedman's logic remains stronger. Business serves society best when they focus on innovation, job creation, and economic growth most. Yeah, so social and political responsibilities belongs to the community, as I said in my essay, to the police and not the business. Thank you. Yeah, also in Milton Friedman, the Society of Business is to increase its profits in the 1970s, with which was published in the New York Times Magazine on September 13th, 1970. This article is one of the, I would say, foundational texts in modern economic and business ethic debates, and it directly supports the central argument in my final project. In the article, Friedman argues that the primary duty of business management is to operate the firm in a way that maximizes profit for its shareholders, while obeying law and avoiding fraud and deception. Thank you. Friedman's reasoning is grounded in the idea that a corporate executive is an employee of the owners of the company, and therefore he or she has a strict fiduciary responsibility to use corporate resources for profit generating purposes. When executives attempt to address social issues, such as, I would say, social causes, community welfare, or charitable programs, Friedman argues that they are effectively taking on obligations that do not belong to them, but is rather for the society. So more like they are stealing. Yeah. And one of the most important points Friedman makes in the New York Times article is that so-called social responsible corporate spending often ends up harming the very groups that it is meant to help. If a society diverts money towards social causes, Friedman explains that the cost must come from somewhere, either lower returns to shareholders, which is true, higher prices for consumers, or lower wages for employees. Because of this, like he wants the social responsibility initiatives actually risk hurting workers and customers. The same concern I raised in my essay. Yeah. Friedman also argues in his argument to a deeper political concern. He insists that social priorities such as reducing poverty or addressing public health should be determined collectively by citizens through democratic processes, not by private executives acting on personal moral preferences. When business leaders try to make social policy on behalf of society, they bypass the will of the people and act like unelected political authorities. And I'll say this idea directly supports the line in my essay arguing that social and political responsibilities belong to the police. I said this in the concluding part, not to business organization. Overall, I'll say Friedman's New York Times article gives a strong economic, political, and ethical reasoning for limiting the role of business leaders to profit making. In my final project, I rely on these insights to argue. I will rely on this insight to argue how Mulligan believes profit and moral responsibility can coexist. Friedman provides a clearer and more, I would say, coherent defense of why business should stay within their traditional role. According to Friedman, society is best served when business promotes innovation, job creation, efficiency, economic growth, also leaving questions of social justice to a broader public and democratic government. Yeah. So I would say Friedman is mostly for the society. He cares more about the society than the business. Yeah. And also, I would say Friedman makes a powerful economic argument that supports this position. He explains in whenever a business leader decides to pursue a social responsibility action, whether that means investing in community programs, raising wages beyond the market wages or market wages. Yeah. So I'll say overall, Friedman's New York article strengthens the foundation of my argument. Yeah. Thank you.